How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's Pot Links, and I'm back with another book review. The book of today's discussion is Drugs in the Brain by Solomon Synder. Solomon Synder was a neuropharmacologist. I think he was a neurosurgeon as well. Could be mistaken. I think he was a neuropharmacologist. Neuroscientist, pharmacologist, and a psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins. So he was one of the people that won a Nobel Peace Prize for neuropharmacology. And this book is about drugs in the brain. So the hidden and blatant effects of drugs on the human brain. Like what happens when you take LSD? What happens when you take an amphetamine? What happens when you drink alcohol? Pretty much every drug, not every drug, because there's a wide range of drugs, but all the substances that we know of in our immediate vicinity that treat anxiety. Let me look through this. Yeah, I think he has the pharmaceutical drugs that treat anxiety and depression. He has morphine, he has heroin, he has LSD, he has marijuana. What else he has here? He talks about how dendrites, see these complex illustrations, cell body, the nucleus, the axon, nerve endings, synapses, synaptic cleft, the serotonin receptors. What is it? The A and C, 5-HTC. HTC is a phone. 5H receptor A and C. I can't remember all off the top of my head. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I have the information up here, and when I need a reference, I have it right here. So this is a great book for anybody who's interested in pharmacology and want to know the basics about the human brain and how it operates and how these drugs have an effect on the brain. Why does it mess with our perception of reality? Why does particular drugs give somebody severe anxiety? Why do certain amphetamines give people severe addictions? Why do drugs operate the way they do in the human genome? This is it right here. Drugs in the brain. You can't go no further. I'm gonna go straight to LSD. Enlightenment in a Pill, and basically goes through the whole psychedelic experience, because that's my favorite part. Aldous Huxley's Doors of Perception. LSD and its relatives were first referred to as hallucinogens, but that characterization was soon abandoned because the drugs do not produce frank hallucinations. A hallucination is a perception that takes place in the absence of an environmental stimulus. According to this definition, the psychedelic drug experience is rarely hallucinatory. The drugs do not create perceptions. They cause existing perceptions to be distorted. Then they got Buddhist practices and the experiments they did with them, peyote, the Indian shaman. Breaks down all the classic psychedelics over here. You got lysergic acid diethylamide, which is LSD. You got mescaline. You got tryptamine, which is psilocybin. They're all tryptamines. I think mescaline might be a phenethylamine, or if I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know. Methyl dioxide, methamphetamine, that's an amphetamine, MDMA. In the literature, it's an amphetamine, but it's technically an entactogen or an entheogen, not an entheogen. An entactogen, or what is it called? An empathogen. But we're not talking about MDMA right now. I just wanted to throw that out there. Oh, well, yes we are. MDMA is right here. Magic mushrooms. The magic mushroom of Mexico and Central America has a longer history of human use than any other mind-altering plant. 80% of all pharmaceutical drugs that help people, 80% come from plants, mind you. Stone sculptures of psychoactive mushrooms found in El Salvador, Guatemala, and parts of Mexico date well before 500 BC. Faces of gods or demons sculpted on the stems emphasize the mushroom's role in religious ritual, which is also evident from their Indian name Tiananacado, meaning food of the gods. Let's see. Priests who accompanied Cortez to Mexico recorded rituals employing Tiananacado as well as peyote. Some saw in a vision that they would die in war, Tiananacado as well as peyote. Some saw in a vision that they would die in a war. Some saw in a vision that they would be devoured by wild beasts. Some saw in a vision that they would pass to tranquility and death. All such things they saw, and when the effects of the mushroom ceased, they conversed with one another and spoke with what they had seen in the visions. We all know who this is in the corner, Maria Sabina and Gordon Wasson. Yeah. LSD is a semi-synthetic. LSD is from, I believe it's Claviceps paspali, if I'm not mistaken, which is, paspura. And it is called ergot. It produces a chemical called ergot, if I'm not mistaken. Argotamine, which it used to be used to constrict the blood vessels in the brain for severe migraines. Argotamine tartrate. Sorry, I got to turn my windshield wipers on. It's called argotamine tartrate, and that's what LSD is made off of. So it's a semi-synthetic. So that's a type of fungus too. It grows on rye, corn, barley, wheat, and responsible for St. Anthony's fire in ancient Europe, where a whole entire town ate infested bread that was infected with Claviceps paspora, and everyone started like fucking hallucinating and shit. Sorry, vulgarity. Everyone started hallucinating, and the town went in array, all because they infected bread. They say you can gauge the safety of a drug based off of these three things. One, does it have a history of human beings using it? Two, is it closely related to any endogenous molecules in the human brain? And three is how long it takes your body to get rid of it. Is it extremely toxic? Does it take 4 days, or does it take 15 minutes? So those are three key markers to determine whether drugs are good or bad. I think we have in our society an immense bifurcation psychologically when it comes to drugs. There's a war on drugs, but there's a drugstore in every corner. So it's like, we don't want you to take these drugs that help you. We want you to take our drugs because these are the ones we allow you to have. I mean, hey, that's why you gotta educate yourself so you know you're not falling into the trap. I just want to show you guys the contents, table of contents. So we have brains and its messengers, opiates, drugs for schizophrenia, mood modifiers, stimulants, easing anxiety, enlightenment in a pill, prospects, recommended reading, notes, sources of illustrations, because he has a lot of illustrations, obviously, because the brain is a complex organ. So you need to see what receptors are communicating with what's happening on the synaptic cleft level. Things are really small, so you would never be able to see them any other way. Just to shed some light on some things we may not understand about, psychopharmacology and how drugs work on the brain. And I feel like if anyone takes prescription drugs or takes over-the-counter drugs or just is a drug enthusiast in general and just likes to know these type of things, or someone who experiments in their own life and wants to know these things, this is something you should have. This is a manual that I still use to this day when someone says, have you ever heard of? Nope, I haven't. Not fucking with that. But not like that. But yeah, so this is just a good reference book for me. It's great to have in your library if you're a professional pharmacologist or you're an amateur pharmacologist. Just to have another branch of knowledge and your abundance of knowledge out of all of your books. This is What You Need by Solomon Snyder, Nobel Peace Prize winner. So yeah, I want to thank you for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with me, and I appreciate that.